What's good, everybody? This is Emmanuel from Team RPM. Now, full transparency, house music is a little bit of a departure for me. If you've been following the RPM Vinyl podcast, you know my wheelhouse is more jazz, funk, soul, and hip hop. But one thing about being a record collector and being a student of the game with regard to music is if you follow the lineage long enough, the music always starts connecting. And believe it or not, I even have a few house music albums in this collection. With Chris headed to the Chosen Few DJs picnic in Chicago this weekend, we thought it'd be a perfect time to pull up a few records and talk about house music. So before we get to these albums, let's talk about the DNA. House music is the offspring of disco with deep roots of funk, soul, and gospel. They took that four on the floor foundation, extended the groove, and embraced drum machines, synthesizers, and the creativity of a DJ. And Chicago is essential to that story, but the music didn't stay in Chicago. It traveled. Detroit, New York, London, and even music in South Africa. House music became a global language, and that's really where our appreciation starts. My first selection with regards to house music albums that I believe that are essential comes from Inner City. Now, being a Detroiter, Kevin Saunderson, along with Derek May and Juan Atkins, make up the Belleville Three. Belleville is a suburb of Detroit, and Kevin Saunderson was a huge deal with regard to techno music. But Inner City is his opportunity to contribute to house. Along with Paris Gray, Inner City's music, you can hear the electronic foundation, you can hear the dance floor, but there's still soul in the music. There's melody, there's a song. Huge songs growing up like Big Fun and Good Light Health introduced Detroit's electronic sound to a much broader audience. For somebody like me, coming from a soul, a funk, background, this is the album that's an easy bridge into dance music. Another artist that I believe is a pillar of house music, Louie Vega. Louie Vega is one of the most important contributors to the current house scene, along with his collaborative partner, Kenny Dope. They make up the Masters at Work. The Elements of Life has 2 installments, and this music speaks to the sensibilities that I directly appreciate. I understand the musicianship that Louie Vega provides. You can hear the Latin music influence. You can hear jazz, the Afro-Cuban rhythms, soul, live instrumentation. They actually tour the Elements of Life currently, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in New York. That's what really draws me to this genre, the musical conversation that's happening. Louie Vega represents the DJ as more than somebody that just plays records. He's a historian. He's a curator, a producer who understands the music that came before him. The Elements of Life demonstrates just how wide the house music umbrella can be. Finally, I'm kind of a newbie to this guy. I want to appreciate my podcast partner, Chris, for turning me on to Crackazat. Crackazat released his latest album, Sun, a few months ago. This is a different direction for me. The album best explains how I connect with house music. When I listen to Crackazat, I hear more than just house. I hear jazz. I hear funk. I hear soul. I hear musicianship. I hear someone who clearly understands the music that came before him. Tracks like Promise Right, Shine, Nothing But Love immediately connected with me. And Nothing But Love actually features one of my favorite under-the-radar musicians, Olivier St. Louis, a vocalist and a bassist who I get turned on by following one of my favorite hip-hop artists, Odyssey. So again, the dots start connecting. That's been my experience with house music. I may not consider myself a house head, but when the music carries the DNA of jazz, funk, and soul, I'm probably going to be fine with it. Sun is a perfect example. I gave you my 3 albums that I feel are essential to house music or maybe house adjacent. Full transparency, I'm just a visitor in the house music conversation. Chris is much deeper in these waters than myself, and the timing couldn't be better because he's headed to Chicago this weekend for the legendary Chosen Few House Music Festival and Picnic. So, Chris, I'm going to get out your way. What albums do you have to contribute to this conversation, good brother?
I am super excited. I have waited 365 days to the next Chosen Few picnic. I went to my first one last year, even though I've been a house fan for so long throughout my life. You can see my excitement here. I've got the memory.
You ready to go?
Last year. I'm looking so forward to just fellowshipping with, other house heads, being there with some friends and just enjoying some great music. There's the guest DJ that's coming this year is going to be DJ Jazzy Jeff. So I'm kind of interested to see what he brings to the table. But of course, you're going to have all your great house DJs there.
I think that's going to be dope, man. And I think Jazzy Jeff's going to surprise you.
I think he is too. I think he is. You can't be tight with Kenny Dope and Louie Vega and not bring it, right? So I know
Hmm.
he's going to bring it on that stage. The first album I really want to talk about is, and I fought you on this list because I knew you was going to pull this album out or you were going to pull out some Moodymann. And he is one of the most central figures to Detroit house. Just an incredible DJ, a visionary, everything from his charisma, his style, but it's just also his sound. And when he came out on the scene as Kenny Dixon Jr., just provided a sound of house that we hadn't heard before. The first album I ever got from him was this right here. This is an incredible album. It's got Misled on it, which is like the opening track. It's like a house track like I've never even heard before. Just the way that it just chops the sample up and just the rhythm and just the soul and funkiness of it. Moodymann is a staple of Detroit house. There's no surprise why he is one of the most in-demand DJs across the globe. So shout out to Moodymann.
Yeah, man. Moodymann is a spirit.
Yes, he is. Yep.
Great call, man. My joint, man, from him, it's not on that album.
What's
but
that?
He has a song called "I'm Doing Fine" with Amp Fiddler. He goes by Amp Dog Night on that particular song.
Yeah.
That's my joint right there.
So since we're talking about Moodymann, why not speak about a artist that has put out work on his label on Moodymann label, and also dropped work all throughout Detroit, another Detroit staple. This guy came up through the ranks of in hip hop, was a DJ, percussionist. He's pretty incredible. What he can do chopping samples is nothing short of amazing. And that is the great Andreas. So
Yes,
Andreas
sir.
is his second album, second full-length album. And it was actually split on two albums. This is just an incredible piece of work. It's close to 30 tracks, the whole thing. An incredible sample chopper. If you want house with a element of hip hop and a deep house element, Andreas is your guy. So shout out to Andreas, DJ Dez.
I know him as DJ Dez with Slum Village. He's dope and incredible percussionist. I see him perform live music. He's incredible percussionist, man.
Yeah, I've seen him a couple times in Detroit, and he's incredible. DJ, credible percussionist. What more can I say?
Yeah, great call.
And then this is a guy that we follow on Instagram. We follow his music pretty close. This is another great visionary in music who seems to be doing things in the deep house, kind of electro kind of space that is unlike his contemporaries. Kyle Hall.
Appreciate you, man. You put me up on him.
That's a bad dude right there.
Yeah, he got some good stuff.
That's a bad dude. He's put out lots of work and just another phenomenal DJ. I really like his sound. I kind of like house that's not only funky, but has great instrumentation, has a jazzy feel. This is your man right here, Kyle Hall.
We got to get this guy on. I know you said you tapped in with him. We want to be able to have this platform, introduce people to guys that are kind of up and coming. Some people kind of under the radar. I love to get him on, man.
That's the thing. He's known. We just want his reach to be farther, right? We talk about house music and how the elements of it, like soul, is jazz. It could be gospel in there. If you're any like fan of that music, you would definitely love these artists that we're talking about. And speaking of Kyle Hall, a contemporary here, I know that he had a tour with him not too long ago.
Talking about? Who are we talking about?
We're talking about the great Byron the Aquarius.
Yeah. They did a back set for the Moodymann Festival.
Yes.
I was Detroit, so mad Memorial Day weekend.
I'm like, these are my two favorite probably right now. I was so sad, man, that I couldn't make that show because I
wanted to pull up, but it rained. The weather was terrible.
Yeah, but this record right here, such a great album. And they got a song on here called Ecstasy. It is so funky, man. Definitely check this out. And then we may have talked about this artist. It seems like everything I'm pulling a lot out of Detroit, and that's just
I'm actually a little surprised. Go ahead, man.
That's because Detroit is such a haven for great house music.
Hey, man, run it up. I'm not going to stop you from talking about my hometown.
I can say from St. Louis, but there ain't nobody doing house in St. Louis.
Hey, well, you adopted. You spent some time here.
We have talked about this guy briefly. I know he was actually an auto worker that was going home making beats. That's always been his passion. And look at him now. He's a phenomenal artist across Detroit and across the globe. You see him DJing and putting albums out. That's Omar S. And this is called You Want. One of the things I really love about this album on You Want is he uses these intros to the songs, to each one of the songs, and it's like Lewis, and it's like quotes from Lewis. It's really cool. And so it's kind of has a theme. So just some great up tempo. You're kind of getting the techno kind of element out of it. We mentioned Juan Atkins. And so, yeah, this is kind of the vibe that you're getting on this upbeat kind of electro, but still has that four house groove. Omar S, You Want. Great album.
I know your house bag. I ain't know if you had more stuff you was pulling out. I respect the knowledge.
My wife on to house music probably about a year and a half ago. And her favorite song, her favorite artist is one that I just mentioned, and I have to go back and mention. But her favorite song is Moments in Life on this. If you've never heard Moments in Life on this, it is one of the most incredible songs. And she didn't even know what house music is, so I had to like explain to her what it is. And so I explained that to her what it was. And now every time we get in the car, it's, oh, can you play my song Moments in Life? So shout out to Andres. I want Andres, if you're actually hearing this, Moments in Life is her favorite song, and that turned her into house music, man. So
appreciate that, man. That's what we do here. We start with jazz, hip hop, funk, soul, or house. But eventually we start connecting the dots. House music is part of a much larger Black musical continuum. Disco, funk, soul, gospel. The technology changed. The dance floor changed, but the groove never left. Chris, be safe. Enjoy your annual pilgrimage to Chicago for the Chosen Few DJs House Music Picnic. And everybody watching, drop your favorite house track in the comments. Put us on to something.
Definitely.
Because at RPM, we're always digging.
Definitely.
So on behalf of Team RPM, this is your boy, Emmanuel. You can follow me you can follow my podcast partner, Chris, Ascension Music. And for more content, follow RPM Vinyl Pod on all platforms. Peace.